So my name's Rianne Scott. I'm the Managing Director of RS Elite Consulting.
So my name is Derry Long and I am the Group Business Development Manager for Frankham Consultancy Group.
How do you best follow up on networking conversations from a business development perspective?
I think it's about picking the phone up. I don't think sending an email can kind of work too well. I think you need to kind of pick the phone up and, like Derry mentioned earlier, take that next step. When you're in a networking environment, there are tons of people there, and not everybody's going to remember you. You might remember them, but they might not remember you. So it's about taking that next step and arranging a one-to-one, if you like, following that initial meeting, to just kind of go and have a coffee, go grab some lunch, whatever, on a one-to-one basis. Or even if there's three of you, if you think that there's some synergy between you and that person and yourself, maybe take somebody with you that would be of benefit to them, so that you're being shown to be an introducer. So they might be able to give you work, but could you take a third person along to this coffee, this informal meet up, this lunch, or whatever it might be, that could be of benefit to them, which is probably going to give them more of an incentive to take that next step, and then feel that you've actually given them something and you're not sitting there wanting from them, if that makes sense.
Derry?
For me, the follow-up is there's a multiple attack here. I generally will, so I have a business card, or I've given a card, but the first thing is I would generally sort of link in with them so that there's a connection. Okay, so again, going back to this, the 6 points of contact. Okay, so I'm now moving up my line to start that. So connecting on LinkedIn, and then either a phone call or an email to say great to meet you. I think there is some synergy. Can we, explore some collaboration opportunities? And literally, go and have a coffee, go to their office, whatever. I mean, wherever they feel comfortable. Some of them, will beat you to it. They'll go, I had a great time last night, but yes, I'm interested in what you do. And that's serendipity. That's happy days, yeah. But most BD, there is graft in the background, working away. And business development is a long game. It's not, sales is quick, it's instant, and that's the differentiator. Business development is all about relationships over a period of time. So, as I said previously, when the light bulb goes off, that might be with the recipient saying, I need to talk to Derry because something that within the Frankham Consultancy Group they do that I need their expertise. I've got pain and I need them to help. So it's all about and the follow-up is crucial. Whether you meet someone, let's say we go to UKREiiF and you're going to meet tons and tons of people. I will generally categorize hot, warm, cold, but every one of them I will reach out to say, lovely to meet you, let's connect in, because their connection could be my next multi-million pound contract.
What's your biggest tip when preparing for networking events?
You don't always know who obviously are going to be at the events. They don't always provide you with kind of guest lists or anything like that. I mean, I do always kind of tend to research any events that I'm going to find out that they are obviously industry specific. I think that's quite crucial to ensure that you are looking at the events that you go into and making sure that they're relevant to your sector. I mean, that's not to say though that just because you might meet a financial advisor that he's not going to be of use to you, but there needs to be some kind of synergy between you and the type of people that you might be meeting. So I think that's quite important to make sure that the type of events that you go into, and obviously making sure that you give him plenty of time to get to the events, and making sure that you've got timings and locations and everything. If you're going from one meeting to another and things like that, just ensuring that you've got the right detail, because obviously lots of some events are different to others, and it might be that you look to see who's on maybe the LinkedIn page or the LinkedIn group for that particular networking event, and it might be that you can see somebody that you do know that has been to that event before, and you might give them a ring or something and say, oh, I'm going to this on this date, are you going, what's the kind of format, are there any kind of tips that you would say or anything about the event before you went? So I think that's probably be my answer to that.
I would say, yeah, research the event before going in, and obviously, is it applicable for you to go? Because obviously time is precious, yeah, so there's no point in rocking up to an event where it's the wrong audience. Okay, so to do your research beforehand, but also, you know, reach out to the organisers to say, who is attending, and you know, under GDPR they may say, I can't give you that information, but okay, well, just tell me who the companies are. You don't want them, you're not really interested in the names, but you want to get an idea of the flavour of who's coming along. I mean, and the one thing I've noticed, which is very useful, you know, the UKREiiF team and Ben, they provide you with a list of companies that have been represented that are attending in a function. That makes my homework a lot easier, in all fairness. So it's having that information. Then likewise, going to the function and meeting, you know, is asking the individuals who organise it, you know, who's in the room. Just get a quick assessment before going off, and let them point you in the right direction. So yeah, a bit of research would be my key to that.
Tips on small talk, because small talk it's one of those things a lot of people don't like doing. Have you got any kind of little topics, or is there any kind of little bits of small talk that you do to break the ice? Because it can be awkward just walking up to somebody and going, hi, I'm Steve or Dave or you know, Rianne. It's like, have you got any kind of icebreakers that you could share?
I think normally it's, oh, have you been to this event before? Like Derry mentioned earlier, like, oh, have you been to anything else beforehand? How was your travel here? Something like that. I mean, I have been to networking events where they, as you walk in, to make it a bit fun, they kind of give you a post-it note or a bit of paper with kind of icebreaker questions on, and it'll be silly little things like, what was the last movie you saw, or who's your favourite actor, or do you, if you read a book, if you was a character in a book, who would you? Silly little things like that, which can be quite fun sometimes, just to kind of, like you say, break that ice. But I think a lot of the time it's kind of, have you been to this event before? Do you do a lot of networking? And then on from there, really, would be my best answer on that.
Thank you. Derry, just quickly at the end.
Yeah, I do a forward roll with Pike and then stand up and ta-da. No, I generally, you know, it's rocking up, and it might be just having a conversation. If they have a name badge, just looking at the name of the company, saying, I've heard of you guys, or whatever, but right down to the sort of, you know, have you had fast travel? You know, have you been here before? They're the sort of standard opening questions here before, you know, and then, you know, or, you know, asking someone who's never been here, is there anyone I can point you to that's going to help you? So, you know, and being an introducer, even though it's not your event, but sure, you know people, but again, because people will remember that, and they have that, you know, it's that soft touch, it's that
be the host.
It's being, yeah, be the host, even though it's not your event. Exactly.
Great.
Yeah, and I think that is a key one, and it's something that Derry does very well, and I tend to do. I mean, sometimes I've been to networking events where I've got to the end and people have gone, you've not actually told us what you do, because I've spent the entire event kind of going, oh, you need to speak to such and such, and you need to speak to such and such. And Steve Pendle, Derry, another connection of ours, and we do host the events with and things, and he's equally the same. I mean, I sometimes I have to prompt him and say, look, go tell somebody what you do, and you need to speak to this person.
But following on from that is a great point to say, I don't know what you do. Great, why don't we meet up for a coffee and I'll tell you all about me? Yeah, it's as simple as that. It's just that connection. It's that moving, taking it to the next stage, yeah, and then moving it down the line. And you know, and that's really, I think that's the success, is how you start from not knowing anybody and then opening up a door and then going through that and taking that person with you and saying, look, you know, we could work together. That's the ultimate goal. But at the end, but no, I think, no, that's not wrong. I want to have people that I will have relationships with in 10 years time that will come to me and say, you need to talk to Derry, yeah? Because that to me is, you know, that I'm established and whatever. So someone new coming on board, okay, that's where you want to be, to say, I remember when you first came, now you are the point man that can help other people. So, yeah.